How's it going, everyone? This is Ken from Pixelated Thoughts, and this is Lightyear Frontier.
Today. Who knows what we'll find out there?
Hey, we found Caribs.
Yes, sir. Perfect. What?
Oh my god, they're attacking. You called it. Called it. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh!
What the? You gotta shoot him with water.
Well, I'm not around you, so I'm sorry. Y'all got it.
I'll admit that cozy games like this usually don't appeal to me. I never understood how individuals could sink so many hours into games like Stardew Valley, but after a few hours with Lightyear Frontier, I get it. The game is cathartic. It's actually refreshing to play something in which I am not under any stress, and it was definitely weird at first because the setting would fit right in with a survival game. You're dropped off onto this planet and then you're just kind of left to your own devices, but there are no survival elements here. You don't need food or water. Shelter exists and really helps with providing buffs as you're trying to gather resources, but you don't really need to sleep other than to progress the time. You're just existing, which is a nice change of pace. All you really need is your mech, as it's your primary means of traversal and resource gathering. It's a veritable Swiss Army knife, as the first few missions are really just to gather all of your different tools. And after that, you're just left learning the different systems, which will really take no time to learn. Everything in this game works as intended, which is impressive because this is in early access, and I really don't believe there are any major flaws. I will say, though, that this game does have its surprises. There are elements of mystery in Lightyear Frontier surrounding other civilizations, and when you finally progress to that moment, you're rewarded with the ability to glide on water, which is really cool and something I didn't see coming. And also, we were really bad at it at first.
To get across to get out of here.
The hell? Water walk! Oh,
Water walking.
shit! Who just walked? Yes! That's fucking awesome! Brandon! Oh, shit! The biomes are diverse enough to make you want to explore, and because each of these areas come with different resources, you will find yourself frequenting them quite often. Now, I didn't play this game alone, except for a few hours here and there, because I wanted to experience this with friends. This is my first time really playing one of these types of games. I didn't play Harvest Moon back on the 64. I didn't play any of these games before. This is really like my first real experience with them. So I invited Brad and Brandon to see how this game operated within co-op. Could individuals who are generally chaotic to one another share a space? The answer to that is yes, but we were huge smartasses to one another. They're gonna be sprouting out of this hole, out of these aluminum deposits.
Oh, okay. Cool.
All right.
That's all I was wanting. Okay, cool. Thank you. That's all I needed to know. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you do.
Well, I was just kind of confused. I mean, I hadn't seen it before, so.
No
Sorry.
problem.
I mean, y'all kind of made it out to sound like a problem.
Holy shit. And what I ultimately learned is that while I like this game solo, it is so much better with friends. And it doesn't matter if you're sharing resources or doing your respective tasks. It's just fun to play a relaxing, casual farming game and just do dumb things together. This is a game that wants you to water crops, build new structures constantly, upgrade your mech to ensure you're more efficient, explore, and feed the local wildlife to gain buffs. The game overall is just wholesome, and it can even relax the most competitive individuals. The mech physics can make things fun also because of how easy it is for you to tip and flip over. Upgrading the speed of your mech, by the way, it's recommended. It's practically a big requirement because you are zooming after that first upgrade, which is weird because in a lot of games, they tend to scale pretty slowly when it talks about upgrades. It's like a 5% boost or something like that. Here it's like 20%. You are just zooming, and it makes getting around to the different biomes a breeze, but it does come at the cost of stability. If you commit to a hard turn, you're going to hit a tree or a rock. It's just bound to happen, and it's not frustrating in the slightest because you don't take any damage. flipping your mech back upright is very easy. Now, when you happen to be out of your mech, you're going to learn very quickly just how small you are. And I mean, you are tiny in comparison to everything on this planet, and it's not a wonder as to why that mech is required. I have gone through multiple facilities and lab sites, and I was just looking around like, I'm really, really small. It is shocking. It really throws you off guard. And I also find it hilarious that there is an unstuck feature. So, if you happen to find yourself in an untenable situation, meaning that you use your thrusters to try to game the system a little bit, get a little ahead of the geometry, and you find yourself stuck, you don't have to just quit out of the game. You hit the pause menu and you select unstuck. You'll get teleported somewhere safe, and then you can go about your business. It's as if the developers knew that players were going to get stuck experimenting with the physics in this game, and because you're not punished for it, just explore away. It's a good time. So after 2 sessions with the game in which we hit just around 10 hours, which was really surprising because I thought that when we were playing Lightyear Frontier, I was thinking we might do 2 to 3 hours, make a small video, and then just kind of move on with it. But I went back to play it again, and I was like, everyone get on because this is a good time. This is just something that I feel is just really relaxing. It's far different than something that we've been playing recently like Helldivers 2. This is just a different type of game, and it's very cathartic after a stressful week. So I asked for everyone's thoughts, and before we get into that, you're going to notice in the earlier footage that our ranch looked like crap, and I will totally take the blame for that. I just wanted to upgrade the mech and clean up the different environments to see what new structures we could unlock. That was pretty much my entire thing. I had zero interest in the visual aesthetic of things, and I assumed that eventually it would all get cleaned up, and I was right. When Brad joined for the second session, he tore everything down and cleaned it all up. He arrived and went, what the hell is all of this? Because I just kind of randomly stack things next to each other because it's really easy to go into the actual build menu, break everything down. When you're over encumbered, it doesn't do anything but just like slow you down. You can't jump, you can't sprint, but because you're in a small area, you can just rebuild everything really easily. So it's nothing too difficult or strenuous. So with Brad, he's done all of this before in other survival titles I've watched him play and also played with him in, and I assume it's cathartic for him. So I kind of just let him do his own thing, and it ended up looking really good in the end. I really like it. But anyway, I asked Brandon and Brad for their thoughts on Lightyear Frontier as well, and this is Brandon's first time actually providing his input on any game we've played, and I thought he actually did a pretty good job. Let's talk about our thoughts so far in Lightyear Frontier. Let's start with Brandon. Brandon, this was my recommendation to you because I noticed that you like Stardew Valley. What do you think, man?
Well, so I like it. It's not Stardew Valley, and so I know that's duh, but the pluses, first of all, like the mech is a plus. I enjoyed the mech. It is a little clunky. There's some issues with that, but overall I enjoy the upgrading of the mech and being able to do that. The planning was okay. The resource gathering is a little strenuous after a little bit. When I say that, I mean like it's you'll start off having plenty of stuff, and then like the coal, for instance, doesn't appear. I don't feel like enough, and so out of 10, I give it maybe a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's pretty good. I think it's fair.
Yeah, no, you don't have to assign a score, but okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, so far it's been pretty good, right?
Yeah.
We're about to hit morning, so this is probably a weird transition when this shit happens.
It is, but it's beautiful. I mean,
yeah,
show that.
I think the
Like,
game.
I mean, that's the graphics are beautiful.
Yeah, I think the
mean-
game looks really good. Let's get to the all-important Brad. Brad, what did you think so far? Well, hold on, let's start. Shut up! All right. Now we'll start right here. Brad, what did you think of the game?
Well, I like the simplicity, right? It's a very simple gather resources, upgrade mech, to gather bigger resources to get better upgrades. It's simple, right? There's no relationship, building. There's no real story. There's some mysteries that you figure out, but there is no survival aspect. It's just a simple, cozy farming simulator. So
no struggle.
The
Yep.
one thing that I really hate is the freaking birds. You can't eat them. What the heck?
I thought you were gonna say they just gotta show up everywhere and take up the space, but okay. Are there any changes you guys want to make, or any changes you hope the developers make to the game? Because right now, I think some of the stuff that I think is pretty cool is that once you get certain unlocks, I mean, it's pretty smooth sailing. But I will say, you know, when we got the water gliding, that was really cool. I think that the one thing that's kind of weird is like it feels like this has to be played in multiplayer. Otherwise, I can see this being really, you know, strenuous.
Tedious.
Yeah, very tedious. Yeah, because when I was gathering resources without you guys, I was like, man, this is like a lot easier to do with a lot of teammates. I understood like having resources to myself, making upgrades, but you only have so much time in the day. And it goes by pretty quickly. Like, the time does draw to a close very quickly, so you don't exactly have time to just mess around. And you got paint guns.
Yeah, we do.
Brandon, is there anything you want to see updated or changed in the future?
Well, really, the only thing I didn't like was some of the clunkiness of the robots or the Gundams or whatever we were calling them.
Mechs.
Yeah, the mechs. Thank you. So those were kind of, like they would fall over in weird situations too. Like in situations where it doesn't feel like, hey, I should have fell over. You know, I could have been okay with a stopping mechanic or something right there. But I mean, those are very small issues to me. I mean, you know.
Yeah,
I also think that the lady voice who, like, I guess it's one of the robots or whatever that's watching you and trying to help you.
Yeah, the main robot.
In the Green Star or whatever. Yeah, she's definitely a psychopath. Like, I definitely expect the story to continue, and you have to fight her or something because she's I'm pretty sure she's getting ready to kill us. What are you doing?
Brad, what about you, man? What any changes you want to see? Like, I mean, you talked about like. It looked like you had some complaints about, you know, geometry and stuff like that. How things kind of snap toward one another. I thought,
Yeah, I mean,
for what it's worth, it's okay.
right. I mean, once again, it's simplistic, right? To make things perfect looking, I don't feel like this is the game to attempt to do that. I something to add. I would like to see some more customization with the mech. Like, I understand you get boosts, and you know we have found like a power up for the mechs, but you know maybe the different arms or the different legs, you know maybe they have modifiers or you know faster or slower walking speeds. You know,
I agree.
Not just a cosmetic thing.
right?
Yeah.
With there being no combat or survival aspect, it's kind of moot for a lot of, you know, like a lot of options are just kind of thrown out because it doesn't matter. But you know, I would like to see just a little bit more. I like the customization with the cosmetic, but just a little more function. But once again, this is simple, so
Yeah.
I understand why.
Yeah, it's still in early access, still in preview. I think like the developers do a good job, especially if you get stuck. Like, it's as if they knew you'd get stuck in the geometry. So they know that, and they allowed you to kind of go, help, I'm stuck. But the thing was, I was stuck on the other island, and instead of just flipping me over or putting me into a safe place in front of me, it, like, literally took me back to this island, which was weird, very strange.
Good.
But
But
no,
that would be cool too. Like, I do agree with what Brad said though. Like, it'd be cool if like maybe like the torso, for instance. Like if certain torsos allowed you to move faster, but other ones allowed you to hold more or something like that. Which I know that like that's just like one instance, like or something like that. You know, if different things allowed like different upgrades for different situations or whatever.
right.
So
No, 100%. I think, like, this is not my type of game. I've never tried to play any of these types of games, but now I do want to try others like this because I like it. I like this lack of stress. Right? There's no stress in doing anything. It doesn't feel like you're sped up at all. Even when, like, there were characters asking, like, hey, build the radio tower. It's like, I could have ignored that for 30 to 40 days.
yeah,
and got away. Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered.
Well, so that's one of the things, like, for Stardew Valley and this game too. Like whenever we talk about what I'm playing, why I play what I do, and that's one of the big things because, some days life itself is stressful,
Right.
and you want something that's just like, hey, I don't want to kill 5 billion bugs that are swarming after me and trying to kill me. I just want to,
Traitorous talk.
I think that's the thing. I do understand why people do play these types of games now. I get it.
Yeah.
So instead of like having those moments where I'm like completely stressed out or burnt out, I can just play this and have a good time.
It's cathartic.
Yeah, true. I mean, there are things that like I do wish were updated or changed, but for the most part, like some of the physics with the mech, like when you're sprinting forward and you turn, like dude, you turn so hard that you're like going off keel. But I think like you can balance and change that. I do think that having certain areas closed off because there's certain mysteries we have to unfold. I think that's cool. That was something I wasn't expecting.
Yeah. That underground area was awesome.
That was very cool. Being able to learn, like we were like solving mini puzzles, and then after we were solving those puzzles, we were then learning how to water glide, which I think is a really cool plus. So I wonder what else they're gonna change. I just think that the only thing I want change is kind of the intervals that I can get like certain resources. So like that noxious, like when we were getting attacked by the noxious plants or whatever they are, like those only happen every 10 days, and those are integral to getting power cores, and that's 8 per to get a power core. So I think that needs to be adjusted because that's kind of frustrating. Beyond that, though,
I agree.
for what's here as a good start, this is a really solid game. And I apologize for everyone who sees me turn to this wood sign that says, "Let me see your feet. Let me see them grippers. Let me see them, Brad. Look at these little things." Also, can we customize our guys too? I want to be able to customize our little people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Give me new overalls. Although it is a cool detail that we do have what looks like wheat in our oxygen intake, which I don't know if that's safe at all, but
I didn't notice that until you just pointed it out.
it's a serious thing here. But anyway, I think so far this is pretty good, pretty fun for about I think like roughly 6-7 hours of work. I'm looking forward to seeing what they add to it, and we will actually more than likely play this multiple times. And to close this out, Brad is going to do a flip over this big sign. So Brad, go get it. All right, here we go. One more.
Gotta get the speed.
Do it for Super Earth.
Ow.
And that is going to do it for this video. If you happen to like the content, please consider like, sharing, and subscribing. This has been Pixelated Thoughts, and we will talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.